In this video, we will talk about nutrients in MS, and in particular about fiber and probiotics. And let's start with the fiber. Fiber is mainly composed of complex carbohydrates such as oligosaccharides, cellulose and hemicellulose, pectin, inulin, and resistant starches, phenols like lignin, and other substances such as gums and mucilages. Fiber is considered beneficial for people with MS. Since it is a prebiotic, that is, a food for the intestinal microbiota, fiber helps to keep gut microbiota healthy and diverse. The large intestine, where the bacteria of the gut microbiota live, receives remains of food that we cannot digest in the small intestine. The bacteria of the gut microbiota can digest these food remains, which are composed mainly of fiber, in a process called fermentation, during which substances such as vitamins and short-chain fatty acids are produced. These are beneficial for our body and are absorbed and pass into the blood. A diet rich in fiber is necessary to maintain a diverse and healthy microbiota. It ensures that all bacteria, including those that can only feed on fiber in green, remain healthy. However, a very low fiber diet for a long period of time eliminates bacteria that can only feed on fiber and favors the growth of bacteria that, in addition to fiber, can eat mucus in orange, with the consequence that the thickness of the mucus is reduced. The reduced thickness in turn allows pathogenic bacteria in purple to damage the intestinal epithelium and to reach the bloodstream. A very low fiber diet can therefore induce dysbiosis, alteration of the intestinal barrier, inflammation, and even infections. High fiber foods are fruit, vegetable, whole grains, and their derivatives such as flour or bread and legumes. The recommended dose of fiber is between 25 and 30 grams per day, which in principle can be obtained from food if one follows a healthy diet. However, if you do not get all the fiber you need from food, you can also obtain it in the form of supplements. There are no specific indications for people with MS, so if you decide to take fiber supplements, we suggest you follow the product's recommendations and consult your neurologist. Regarding the scientific evidence, there are no clinical trials, at least we are not aware of any. There are trials that show the benefit of diets rich in fruits and vegetables, which are diets rich in fiber. However, as these diets are also rich in vitamins and antioxidants, it is difficult to know the exact benefits that can be attributed to fiber. And now we will talk about probiotics. Probiotics are live bacteria present in food that produce some benefit for the person who eats them. Since they help to repopulate and maintain a diverse and healthy intestinal microbiota, which, as we just mentioned when talking about fiber, is very important in people affected by MS. Foods that contain probiotics are, for example, yogurt, cheese made with raw milk, sauerkraut, olives and pickles, or kombucha, a tea from China, the consumption of which has become very widespread in recent years. Probiotics can also be obtained as supplements. Currently, there are many probiotic supplements with different compositions of bacteria on the market. It is not yet known which probiotic is optimal for people with MS. If you decide to take probiotics, let your pharmacist advise you, and as always, inform your neurologist. Regarding the scientific evidence, there are several clinical trials that suggest that probiotics may be beneficial for people with MS. Here, you have 3 of these trials in which probiotics with different bacterial composition have been administered, and in all 3 studies, a positive effect on the disease has been reported. Also, the duration of the consumption of the probiotics was different in the 3 studies, being 3 months in the first, 2 months in the second, and 6 months in the third. Here, you have the list of bacteria that were administered in each of these clinical trials. In the first study, the administered probiotic contained only 4 species of bacteria and was not commercially available, while the probiotic that was administered in the other 2 studies was commercial. The second study used a probiotic with 8 species of bacteria marketed as Vivomix in Europe and Vispiome in the United States, and the third study used a probiotic with 14 species of bacteria marketed as Protexin. The number of common bacterial species in these probiotics is very low. Only one bacterial species is present in all 3 probiotics, while the commercial probiotics share 7 species. We still do not know the ideal composition of the microbiota. So, at the moment, the most recommended path for people affected by MS is to consume probiotics that contain bacteria common to probiotics that have shown some efficacy in MS. For this reason, it is important to look in detail at the composition of the probiotics that you have access to in your pharmacy. It is also not clear yet which is the optimal time of consumption. Our recommendation for people affected by MS is increase fiber intake through a high consumption of fruit and vegetables with 5 daily servings, together with a high consumption of integral cereals and derivatives, that is, flour and bread made from these cereals. And also increase the consumption of probiotics present in fermented foods. We also believe that it is a good idea to consume both probiotic and prebiotic supplements, that is, fiber. To choose the most appropriate probiotic, look for the bacteria that are present in the probiotics that have shown efficacy in clinical trials, which we have just shown, and take them for 2 or 3 months. Then, try to keep the microbiota diverse and healthy with a fiber supplement that you can take regularly with a glass of water. Choose fiber supplements that contain only fiber and take the amount that the package insert recommends.